Good morning from Shoda Farms. It's the second week of June and the garden's looking great. I just want to do a quick video plant update and show you what's going on and what's growing and what's going on here at Shoda Farms. How's your garden growing? Leave a comment below. Alright, let's go on a tour. Behind me, that hibiscus is looking great. It's just huge, and the leaves are this beautiful mix of purple and green. Still has a bit of time before it blooms, it looks like. Below that, the oregano. I harvested a bunch of it, but I left some of it to flower. The chives have all been cut back because they flowered already, but they're growing again, which is great. The kale is actually doing well now that it's partially shaded by that hibiscus. The sunflowers, as you can see, are getting large. Garlic is nearing the end. It's going to be harvest time in a few weeks here. And you can see it's kind of starting to turn brown. This is a carrot that's been in the ground for a couple years now. I just let it kind of go, and that's what happens. You get some nice little flowers, umbrals, and there's a bunch of them forming. Insects love those. The onions have flowered and are going to seed now. I'll probably cut some of those back soon. Another sunflower here. Over here, if you can see, that's bee balm in the front, and then all that garlic. Stepping into the garden here, this is a row of black soybeans that I'm interested to see how they do. They're supposed to be good for edamame, but I also want to maybe try to ferment some soy sauce with them. These are the carrots, which are just going crazy now, which is so great. Carrots are tough to get sprouted, and these took off pretty well. The peppers are having mixed success. They had a lot of pest problems, not only the aphids at the beginning, but there seems to be a cat in the garden that has bit a couple of them down. But they're doing well. I think now that it's warm consistently, they're going to start growing quickly. The tomatoes are really popping. Some of them are already on the first rung of the trellis. Some of them might need to be tied back still. But I'm pruning them to one vine, so I'm taking all these suckers off so we can just get one vine that goes all the way up. Maximize production off of one stem. The mushroom beds are all still dormant, but the mycelium is running under the mulch. I've checked a few places. The potatoes are all looking really good. The ones that remained in the ground anyway. Had some squirrels digging them up. I forgot to show you that. That tomatillo there is getting really big. Lots of flowers. Same with this one. The path is being guarded by this big sunflower. The lavender is looking really nice. All blooming. Got some more sunflowers there. And then the new garden. Lots of radish and arugula flowers, which the insects love as well. The collards are getting really big. Got a sunflower there. The okra are a few inches tall, but they're going to start growing really fast now that they got their main leaves. There's 4 of them there. So this whole section is going to get replaced by okra very soon. More collards over here. and sunflower there to hopefully shade out. I'm experimenting with sunflowers, microclimates, shading the collards a little bit, which will make them happier, and also giving the workspace a little shade. So we'll go this way. Again, the potatoes are looking great. They're flowering, which, if I can focus this, the potatoes have really pretty flowers. So they're making their potatoes down in the ground. Got a row of sunflowers back here that are getting pretty tall. Back under the sunflowers, I've got some watermelon planted. There's one there. There's a few that are sprouting, but not too many yet. Show you these flowers up close. I love all the different kinds of flowers that veggies make. Potato flowers are pretty cool. So as you can see, there's just a lot of that happening. Down in here I've got some ginger in the ground. It's not very big yet, but it'll kind of fill this spot out. And then the middle bed. So the middle bed has been mostly cleared out of the cover crop. You can see some things are still growing, like this Swiss chard here is looking really good. That one too. But mostly I have cleared it out around the peppers so they can start really growing quickly. And instead of composting a lot of it in the composter, I just dropped it, chop and drop. There's a lot of biomass in the radishes and the mustard greens and the arugula, so a lot of it just is getting composted in place to feed all the peppers in this bed. I got some cayennes already forming, which is pretty exciting. Those are pretty long, actually. And then the super hot peppers, Ghost and Habanero, haven't really taken off yet because it's not hot enough for them. And then this final section is still kind of going wild. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there after all this is up. Maybe some sweet potatoes. I have some sweet potato starts that are in pots that need to get in the ground, actually. And I might experiment with having sweet potato vines run along the pepper beds to kind of create a green mulch with those. And that brings us to corn. Corn was looking really good, and a lot of it still is looking really good. It's about 2 to 3 feet tall now. But there are a lot of holes. Like about not quite half of the plants have been ripped out by squirrels, which is really, really annoying. So my defense that I'm trying is, if you can see, there is a hot pepper paste on all of the stalks that remain that was from ghost peppers and habaneros from last year. Squirrels don't seem to like that very much. The worst part about this is that the pull beans have started coming up. The pumpkins have started coming up and getting pretty big. The pumpkins just aren't big enough to keep the squirrels away yet. So we'll see how the rest of the year goes with the three sisters there. Moving to the front of the fence, the flowers are doing okay. I didn't consider how much shade this pallet fence would be casting on this little section, so they don't get as much sun as I thought they would. But they're alright. The planter box is now completely planted. I've got nasturtiums, but the main reason I built this was for mint, because I don't really want mint in my garden, in the ground, because it'll, it's fairly invasive. So this will contain it. I got 4 different varieties, and they can just kind of go crazy in that little bed. And then the straw for the oyster mushrooms is also running really nicely. If you look into it, you can see a lot of evidence of that. This is another squirrel trap that I built. It's it's a variety of nuts and seeds that I put some of that hot sauce on. So since I put that out and the hot sauce on the corn stalks, I have not seen too many squirrels, and it doesn't seem like I've lost another corn plant since. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. We got some more sunflowers over here. Currently in the shade of the fence. It's not quite noon. So that's the backyard. It's looking pretty good. It's a really nice time of year, but it's about to be even prettier. Things are starting to bloom. Things are starting to get really big. I've also strung up some lights, so we've got good coverage on backyard barbecues. Let's go to the front yard. Okay, so the sunflower bed with the crimson clover is going really well. I'm pretty excited about this. So the clover has started flowering, as you can see there, if I can get it in focus, and has kind of taken over the bed. There's some milkweed there, some few natives. The garlic is still there, but if you can tell, I haven't mulched this bed, and this is what happens when you don't mulch. You get a lot of weeds and grass and stuff, but once that clover is established, I think this will be set. And then the sunflowers are getting pretty big. The crimson clover is very pretty. It's very nice. That's a lantana down there that I planted for some more color. And now for the very front. This bed is going crazy. It's very full. The Monarda hasn't quite flowered yet, but it's going to be flowering soon. I'm anxious to see what that looks like. I dropped in a couple sunflowers on the ends. The borage has started flowering here, which is great because the bees and whatnot love the borage. Oh, here you go. There's a bloom on that. It just hasn't opened up. The aronia have a few berries on them. They're still not quite ripe. I harvested this oregano, but you can't tell because it's already grown back and grown crazy. The nasturtium, despite being kind of buried by that, is doing well. There's thyme there again. The straw flowers have started opening up, which I'm excited about. These are, hang on. These flowers basically have the consistency of dried straw, so they preserve really well and they don't lose their color. This nasturtium is going nuts right over the wall, which is what I was hoping they would all do. And these leaves I've been harvesting. They're very tasty. There's a thyme plant down here that's getting a little choked out. I need to thin this out a little bit, but it's flowering too. And more borage. The indigo already flowered, but it's doing well too. So that's the garden tour on June 11th, and I'll keep you all posted. Garden's going really well this year, minus the squirrel problems, but we'll work those out. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.